watching ABC News Live.
Tonight, a defiant President Biden determined to stay in the race.
Has the president been treated for Parkinson's? No. Is he being treated for Parkinson's? No, he's not. Is he taking medication for Parkinson's? No.
A strongly worded letter, a cable news interview, and more. The push by Joe Biden to remain in the 2024 race, pushing not against Republicans, but members of his own party and major Democratic donors as they question the president's own capacity to take on Donald Trump in November. We're on Capitol Hill as congressional Democrats convene while Biden's own chances hang in the balance. Plus, Tropical Storm Beryl slams into Texas after landing in the state as a deadly Category 1 hurricane. The dangerous weather across the coast bringing damaging storm surge and life-threatening flash flooding, with winds reaching up to more than 80 miles per hour in parts of southeast Texas. We're on the ground for the very latest tonight.
I want to change the discrimination that they try to hide. When you apply for a job, when you get to the interview, they see the chair.
Demanding decency and work. In tonight's Prime Focus, we report on the millions of Americans with disabilities and the obstacles in their way to finding good, sustainable work options in a world not necessarily built for them. Good evening, everyone. I'm Linsey Davis. Thanks so much for streaming with us. We're following those stories and much more, including the nationwide heat wave now in its second week. Areas across the country recording their hottest days on record in just the last few days, with nearly 150 million Americans under heat alerts from coast to coast. Plus the terrifying moments for passengers on board a United flight from LA to Denver when the Boeing 757 loses one of its main landing gear tires during takeoff. And rebuilding Notre Dame. We go inside the cathedral, rising from the ashes 5 years after that devastating fire, just in time for the Olympics. But we do begin with President Biden's counterattack to the growing number of lawmakers and donors calling for him to step aside. Fed up and defiant, the president penning an impassioned letter to congressional Democrats, insisting he is not going anywhere, writing, "It is time to come together, move forward as a unified party, and defeat Donald Trump," vowing on a call with donors to attack Donald Trump. But lawmakers back on Capitol Hill today are asking difficult questions. A members-only House Democrat meeting is set for tomorrow morning to discuss the best path forward. This as a sixth House Democrat now says it would be a mistake for Biden to continue the campaign. On the eve of the White House hosting the NATO...
effective messenger and the effective candidate that we need.
On the eve of the White House hosting the NATO summit, foreign leaders are expressing their deep concerns about his ability to run the country. This as the Republican National Convention adopted its 2024 platform ahead of next week's convention, aligning with Donald Trump's political posture. Elizabeth Schulze has those details, and our Rachel Scott is on Capitol Hill with fresh reaction from congressional Democrats. But ABC's chief White House correspondent Mary Bruce leads us off.
President Biden tonight defiant and fighting back, adamant he's in this race for the long haul.
The bottom line here is that we're not going anywhere. I am not going anywhere.
Biden today aggressively rejecting calls to drop out and challenging his Democratic doubters.
I'm getting so frustrated by the elites. Now, I'm not talking about you guys, but about the elites in the party who they know so much more. But if any of these guys don't think I should run against me, go ahead, announce for president. Challenge me at the convention.
But the White House today forced to face questions about whether they're being honest with the American people about the president's health after visitor logs show a neurologist, a Parkinson's expert, visited the White House 8 times within an 8-month span, including meeting once with the president's doctor.
So to give you some answers here, has the president been treated for Parkinson's? No. Is he being treated for Parkinson's? No, he's not. Is he taking medication for Parkinson's? No. So those are the things that I can give you full-blown answers on.
But the White House refusing to say if this neurologist ever evaluated the president or consulted on his care during his visits to the White House Residence Clinic, citing privacy concerns.
Certainly could clear this all up just by saying what he was doing here and if it was connected to the president, yes or no?
I am not going to confirm a particular neurologist, anybody.
The same neurologist also appeared on the visitor logs during the Obama years more than 24 times. The White House today not providing a reason for the recent visits. The press secretary adamant Biden has only been evaluated by a neurologist 3 times, each as part of his regular annual physicals.
Wait, just to be clear, yes or no, has his physician seen a reason to reevaluate him for Parkinson's since the February physical?
No, the comprehensive report that you all have stands.
The president himself out of the public eye today. The First Lady out rallying crowds in North Carolina and Florida.
For all the talk out there about this race, Joe has made it clear that he's all in.
The calls for her husband to get out of the race clearly getting under her skin.
Dr. Biden, do you have any message to House Democrats who are calling for your husband to drop out of the race? How are you feeling about the state of the race?
All right, ladies. Why are you screaming at me? You know me. Don't scream at me. Just let me talk.
This as the president scrambles to contain the defections on Capitol Hill, telling Democrats in a letter he's staying in this race, adding the question of how to move forward has been well aired for over a week now, and it's time for it to end.
Mary Bruce joins us now from the White House. Mary, what can we expect from President Biden as he hosts the NATO summit in Washington tomorrow and Thursday?
Well, Lindsay, these next few days are critical, and the president knows that. His goal here while he is out on the world stage at this NATO summit is to show Americans that he is still up for the task. And the schedule is packed. Tomorrow, late afternoon, he'll be delivering remarks marking the 75th anniversary of NATO. He is expected at some point during this busy schedule of meetings to meet with Ukrainian President Zelensky. Then there will be a formal dinner here Wednesday night at the White House, the kind of late-night event that we don't often see on the president's schedule. So a lot going on over a busy few days, Lindsay.
Certainly critical time. And what are you hearing about the president holding a full news conference?
Yeah, this will be his first solo news conference in 8 months, expected to come late Thursday afternoon, early evening. The president knows that he needs to get out there and field reporters' questions off the cuff as part of this effort to show that he is up for this and up for beating Donald Trump, Lindsay.
Mary Bruce from the White House. Thanks so much, Mary.
Thank you.
With lawmakers back on the Hill their first time since just after that first debate last month, gathering for votes and last-minute meetings like one convened by the Biden team with members of the Congressional Black Caucus. Tonight, what several leading Democrats told us when we asked what the president should do, pass the torch or stay in the race. Rachel Scott on Capitol Hill has more.
President Biden is urging Democratic lawmakers to put their worries aside and get behind his campaign. But tonight, a growing number of senators say they're not ready to do that. From Senator Sherrod Brown in Ohio.
I've talked to people across Ohio. They have legitimate questions about whether the president should continue his campaign. And I'll keep listening to people.
To Senator Mark Warner of Virginia, who heads up the powerful Intelligence Committee and says now is the time for conversations about the strongest path forward, adding, I believe it's incumbent on the president to more aggressively make his case to the American people. In Montana, Senator John Tester locked in a tough re-election battle, saying President Biden has got to prove to the American people, including me, that he's up for the job for another 4 years. On Capitol Hill, I tried to get an answer from one of the president's two home state senators, Tom Carper of Delaware.
Do you think he should step aside? If I don't go inside, I have people waiting for me, and I'm in trouble.
It's a simple yes or no, sir.
Thank you.
Carper's office later telling us, I have no interest in walking away from Biden today or tomorrow or the day after that. Many Democrats saying the next few days are crucial for the president.
The bottom line is just wait till this week, give it another week. It's only been a week. And what, 3 days, 3 or 4 days?
You said give it another week, so are you keeping an open mind on whether you want to see the president step aside in this race?
My thing is to find out what direction that the president is going to go. He's said very clearly what he wants to do and what he will do.
What do you want to see from him?
Well, I think that basically, we'll see he's very active now and everything. That's good.
But late today, Congressman Adam Smith of Washington telling me time's up and the president's got to drop out.
I wish he would make the right decision, but since he hasn't, and because of my bedrock belief that we can do better with a different candidate, not just a little better, a lot better, I got to speak up and just make the plea.
A lot of strong feelings on both sides. Want to see, do we have Rachel Scott live at this point? Okay, great. Rachel, I know you've been working down to the minute. We're just having a conversation with Congresswoman Jayapal. What did she have to say?
Yeah, I was just talking to Congresswoman Jayapal moments ago. She's here just leaving House votes. And look, at this point, she tells me that she's standing behind this Democratic ticket, but she was very, very blunt that she had concerns about what she saw on that debate stage. She said many Democrats had concerns. She wants these conversations to start playing out, though privately, not so much publicly. So much has been revealed in the last few days. We know that at least 6 House Democrats are now calling for President Biden to step aside. And I had a chance to catch up with one of them earlier today. Take a listen.
I think that was an incredibly arrogant comment that misses the point. When you run for office, one of the things you have to guard against is thinking that it's all about you. It's not, okay? It's secondarily about you. It's about the people who you are saying that you want to represent. It's about them, okay? And I think this has become too much about Joe Biden, his ego, whether or not people respect him. It's got nothing to do with it, okay? He doesn't want Donald Trump in the White House. None of us do. So I don't think that answer gave the situation the depth and the seriousness that it deserves.
Rights and women's rights became a key cornerstone of his campaign.
And I want to bring in just one more conversation here because we're obviously talking to members. This is the first time they're back on the Hill since that debate. Let's listen in.
The important thing is that people focus on beating Donald Trump, and right now the focus needs to get back to that. You're seeing a complete unification, mostly hardening of the Congress right now, but also across the country. When we're back home right now, people are saying, keep supporting Joe Biden, make sure he's fighting, he's a fighter.
So bottom line, you're standing behind President Biden at this point.
Of course, I've been from the day one. Absolutely.
So you see this sort of split screen that's playing out here on Capitol Hill, where you have a handful of Democratic members that want President Biden to step aside, but then you have members like Congressman Mark Garcia who are saying absolutely they're standing behind the president. They want the Democratic Party to rally behind him, and they're issuing sort of a warning that having this type of dysfunction so close to the November election could actually hurt the party, Linsey.
And what's interesting, if we headed over to the Senate, because in the House we've seen about half a dozen come forward, a little more now than that, saying that they would like to see Biden step aside. But it sounds like all is quiet, at least publicly, on the Senate side.
Yeah. Yeah, so far, there has not been a single Senate Democrat that has come forward to call on the president to step aside. All these conversations are sort of playing out privately, and we've heard that a number of Senate Democrats have these private concerns. But I will tell you, I've talked to a number of Senate Democrats today. Most of them are sort of playing this wait-and-see game. They saw what happened on the debate stage. They watched our exclusive interview that George Stephanopoulos had with President Biden. They had some concerns there about what the president said, including that only the Lord Almighty can ask the president to step aside. But what they want to see from the president is this sort of ramp up in his schedule. They want to see him do more unscripted moments. They want to see him out taking questions at different press conferences. And so that is what they're watching for this week. We know it's going to be a critical week for President Biden, having that press conference that Mary Bruce just alluded to, but also here on Capitol Hill. And of course, our eyes, Linsey, are on the leaders here on the Hill. Hakeem Jeffries, who is standing by the president, supporting the Democratic ticket. So is Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer, as well as Jim Clyburn and Nancy Pelosi, the former Speaker of the House. Those are critical voices who have the ear of the president, Linsey.
All very fascinating, and as it has been said, this is a critical week, a critical time. Rachel Scott, working hard, as always, out there on Capitol Hill. Thanks so much, Rachel.
Thanks, Linsey.
We are also just 1 week away from the kickoff of the Republican National Convention. It's going to get underway just days after Donald Trump's sentencing in Manhattan after he was convicted on 34 counts. And we still don't know who Donald Trump's running mate will be, but we are getting clues into the Republican Party's lining up behind Trump as the RNC adopted its 2024 platform just hours ago. ABC's Elizabeth Schulze joins us now for more. And Elizabeth, the platform is about 16 pages and reads more like a Trump stump speech more than anything else. But there are 20 principles that are outlined. Run us through them and what appears to be missing.
Right, Linsey, and this document really does make clear just how much the Republican Party is morphing to fit the views of former President Donald Trump. These 20 principles that are outlined in the document obtained by ABC News, they're a guiding principle. They don't have to be followed, but it really does show where the priorities are in this party. And if you take a look at what number 1 and 2 are, they say to seal the border and carry out the largest deportation in American history. This is, of course, a nod to how the GOP is trying to run on this issue of immigration. After that, you see end inflation, make America the dominant energy producer in the world, which notably, Linsey, it already is. Next few principles, they call for tax cuts for workers and no tax on tips, something we've heard the former president talking about. defend our Constitution, prevent World War III, rhetoric that we frequently hear from the former president. Also this, quote, end weaponization of the government, refrains we hear from him a lot on the campaign trail. And then you see these principles talking about fighting crime, modernizing the military, making it, quote, the most powerful in the world. Also, these principles of including protecting Social Security, not cutting Medicare Social Security, canceling the electric vehicle mandate. And finally, these last few principles really highlight some of those divisive issues that we hear from the former president, from a lot of Republicans on the trails these days. Issues like critical race theory, transgender sports, the Israel-Hamas war, campus security. Finally, unite our country by bringing to new records levels of success. So a lot of this sounds like what you'd hear from the former president, but notably, as much as it's important what's included in this is what's not. And Linsey, there is really hardly any mention of abortion in this entire platform. It's not until the second to last page do we get a brief mention on the full document. And what it says here is notable, Linsey. It says for the first time in 40 years, the RNC is really not explicitly endorsing a national ban on abortion. Instead, it's supporting Trump's view that this should be left up to the states. And this is something that we have seen a notable shift because, of course, the GOP has been running on this issue for decades. But now it says that the party opposes late-term abortions. It won't put a specific time frame on that. And it even goes so far as to say that the Republican Party would support access to birth control and IVF. So this softened language really is a nod to the political reality that is also a liability for Republicans, that every time that abortion has been on the ballot since the U.S. Supreme Court overturned Roe v. Wade, the abortion rights position has won. Linsey.
Really interesting to see this about face from the party. Elizabeth Schulze, our thanks to you. Now to the deadly hurricane slamming the U.S. and making landfall in Texas early this morning. Beryl arrived as a Category 1, hammering the coast with torrential rains and damaging winds, also bringing widespread flooding and a life-threatening storm surge. Meteorologist Lee Goldberg has the latest on the rains and wind ahead for millions. But first, our Victor Kendo is in Houston.
Tonight, millions of families and businesses are without power as South Texas takes a direct and deadly hit from Hurricane Beryl. Beryl, fueled by the abnormally warm waters of the Gulf of Mexico, slamming ashore around 4 a.m. southwest of Houston as a Category 1 hurricane with sustained winds over 80 miles an hour and feet of storm surge.
Oh, wow.
AccuWeather's Aaron Jajak right there as Beryl came ashore.
Just north of the coast, power's been knocked out here in Sargent, Texas. Absolutely strongest winds yet right now.
Transformers exploding like fireworks in Jamaica Beach as Beryl barreled inland toward Galveston.
Hurricane Beryl made landfall 2 hours ago in Matagorda, Texas. That's south of where we are in Galveston, now in the dirty side of the storm. That is the most dangerous part. The rain has been relentless for hours, and these winds are only getting stronger.
Drone video revealing the devastation. Boats, campers, roofs peeled from homes. Beryl still a formidable Cat 1 hurricane as the eyewall approached Houston, dumping nearly 9 inches of rain in spots.
Shelter in place. We're in an emergency. We're in a rescue mode. Life safety.
This traffic camera shaking in the wind as firefighters use a ladder truck to rescue a man from the roof of his car.
He's got the life jacket on, and they are lifting him out of the water. Look at that.
Our station, KTRK, right there as they hoist him out of the fast-moving water and onto dry land. Northeast of the city, a 73-year-old grandmother was killed when a tree fell on her home, one of at least 3 deaths. Beryl, the first hurricane to make landfall in Texas in 3 years, after tearing a week-long path of destruction through the Caribbean, killing at least 11 people.
So many lives just upended by this storm. Victor Kendo joins us now from Houston. Victor, what are you seeing? Describe the area where you are right now.
Linsey, there are downed trees like these all over Houston that have knocked out power. Officials warning they don't know how long it will take to fully restore it. So while Beryl has moved on, the danger has not. Houston is under a heat advisory tomorrow with the heat index near 100 for the coming days. Linsey?
Wow, just unrelenting there, Victor. Thank you. And now meteorologist Lee Goldberg from our partner station WABC joins us. He's tracking the remnants of Beryl and also that historic heat wave. Good evening to you, Lee.
Yeah, good evening, Lindsay. It's really tough. If you're not in the impacted Beryl, you're broiling on both coasts right now, and ultimately some storms could get to the East Coast. But let's look at where Beryl is right now across East Texas. It's approaching Tyler, Texas. The storm center will head into Arkansas, and it's really transitioning to more of a tropical rainstorm, a flash flood threat, and also a tornado threat. There's been tornado warnings all afternoon long, and that watch will go until 10 o'clock tonight. And then the flood threat is the main concern all the way up to St. Louis through Tuesday, but that flood threat will continue through the Ohio Valley, the Great Lakes, and even into the Northeast. So the storm spends tonight in Arkansas, and by the time we go through tomorrow and early Wednesday morning, we could have heavy downpours in the south side of Chicago, even just north of Indianapolis, up to about Detroit, over to Cleveland, and then into the Northeast. So this storm center may actually go into Ontario and even into Quebec, leaving the heaviest rains from like a Rochester over to Watertown, Plattsburgh, and along that route of the track of the remnants, 3 to 5 inches of rainfall. You see the 1 to 2 inch rains mid-Atlantic and I-95. That's because some of that tropical moisture will get fed into a front later this week that could bring some flooding there. And again, if you're not in the tropical downpours, you're in the heat. Excessive heat alerts all through the West Coast. Same story here. Las Vegas had an all-time record high over the weekend. We continue to be near that through the week. Triple-digit heat's just absolutely unbearable there. And it's also hot in the Northeast. Heat advisories extended here in New York City right through Wednesday. Lindsay?
Record-setting temperatures there. Lee Goldberg, our thanks to you as always. Overseas now to the horrific images coming in from Ukraine. Russia launched at least 40 missiles today, one striking a children's hospital in Kyiv, just as President Zelensky is set to be here in the U.S. for the NATO summit with President Biden. Here's Ian Pannell, and we warn you, some of the images may be disturbing.
Tonight, a devastating attack across Ukraine. The busy morning rush hour broken by dozens of Russian missiles targeting the capital Kyiv and 4 other cities. Seen in these videos circulating online, leaving more than 30 dead, over 170 wounded. And here, Putin's army deliberately striking the youngest and weakest of all. At Ukraine's biggest children's hospital. Heartbreaking scenes as the sick youngsters, some with wounds from the blast, were led to safety. Rescuers and dozens of volunteers, including medics wearing scrubs and lab coats, forming a human chain, combing frantically through the rubble for survivors, as children undergoing life-saving treatment were forced to sit on the sidewalk, IVs still in their arms. We visited this hospital many times. It gives critical care to kids with cancer, disease, as well as war wounds.
Just excruciating time for the Ukrainians. Ian joins us now from London. Ian, Russia has never hit this children's hospital before. Any idea why now?
It's a good question, Lindsay. Why such a soft target where the weakest, the most vulnerable in Ukraine were housed, many of them receiving critical cancer care, many of them with rare diseases, and there's no other hospital for children in Ukraine that does quite what this does. Now, of course, we don't know what President Putin's thinking, but President Biden and other NATO leaders are meeting tomorrow in Washington, D.C., and it does look like this is designed to send a clear message to them. And President Zelensky, who's also going to attend, is calling for a strong response from President Biden and those other NATO leaders. Lindsay?
Ian Pannell for us. Thanks so much, as always, Ian. Turning now to the results in the election in France. French President Emmanuel Macron is refusing the resignation of the country's Prime Minister Gabriel Attal, asking him to remain temporarily as the head of the government. France's far right looked to be closer to gaining power than ever, but in the end, the left won most of the seats, but no party won the majority. The uncertainty of who's in power could have far-ranging implications for global diplomacy and Europe's economic stability. This comes after the UK also rejected its Conservative Party last week after 14 years in power, losing to the left-leaning Labour Party in a landslide victory. A man has been arrested and charged with homicide after a transgender 14-year-old's body was found dismembered. Paulie Likens went missing June 22nd, and that teen's remains were found at several remote locations around Shenango River Lake in Pennsylvania near Pittsburgh. Police arrested 29-year-old Deshaun Watkins and say that they found evidence at his apartment connecting him to the murder. Likens' mother says her child was a transgender female. Police have not said how or if Likens and Watkins knew each other. Closing arguments have begun at the bribery trial of New Jersey Senator Bob Menendez, who prosecutors allege was showered with hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of cash and gifts. In addition to testimony from several dozen witnesses, prosecutors emphasized the evidence, including hundreds of emails, texts, and often fingerprints even on the tape of boxes that included thousands of dollars in cash. Menendez has pleaded not guilty, so has his wife, who is also charged, but her trial has been postponed as she recovers from breast cancer surgery. And we still have much more to get to here on Prime tonight. Alec Baldwin appears in court. The motions a judge ruled on ahead of his involuntary manslaughter trial. But next in our Prime focus, 1 in 4 adults live with a disability, but many still struggle to find jobs willing to accommodate their needs. Now, advocates are pushing for new ways to make the workforce a more inclusive space.
Yes, we do have a disability, but there's more than one way to do something. While it may not be perfect or it may not be what someone else would think of, but we can get the task done. So I would like to help in being a part of the change.
Whenever news breaks,
we are here in Israel, a nation at war after that brutal surprise attack by Hamas.
On the ground in Ukraine, reporting from Lewiston, Maine.
The scene of a horrific mass shooting.
ABC News Live is right there everywhere.
From the scene of that deadly missile strike in Dnipro, Ukraine.
Reporting from the earthquake in Turkey.
In Rolling Fork, this tornado tore through this little town.
From the most devastating disaster in Hawaii.
From Charleston, South Carolina, on the 2024 campaign trail.
In Iceland, let's go.
Traveling with the president in Mexico City.
Wherever the story.
From the front lines, from southern Israel.
Outside the Gaza Strip.
In Beirut. From the FBI.
Reporting from the nurses on the picket line.
Here at 10 Downing Street in London.
Streaming live to you.
Wherever the story is.
Wherever the story is.
Wherever the story is. We're going to take you there.
You're streaming
ABC News Live.
ABC News Live.
You're streaming ABC News Live.
ABC News Live. Streaming free everywhere. America's #1 streaming news.
First thing in the morning.
There's a lot going on.
We're still in a flash flood warning. To catch you up with what happened overnight. Police in riot gear arresting dozens of protesters.
What's happening today? Escalating tensions in the Middle East.
What people are talking about. The migrant crisis.
Fast, straightforward.
With some fun in between.
Check out the Gator on the 17th hole.
The buzzkill in baseball.
First thing in the morning.
America This Morning.
America's #1 early morning news.
On ABC News Live.
What does it take to be the most watched newscast in America?
We are part of an operation.
Is this our combat operations center?
We're approaching the gate. Militants came in from different directions. Nuclear reactor. So you have a couple loaded and ready to go. The house is destroyed, but the flag.
Not a tear in it.
How important it made to USA. Great work.
Hi.
Appreciate you. Thank you.
Ismail?
David. I'm David Muir.
I know who you are.
You
Watch
do?
you every night.
ABC's World News Tonight with David Muir is America's most watched newscast.
All right, let the dogs out, please.
I don't think he's going to give you a hard time.
Even if he gives me a hard time, I'm the right guy.
You can handle it.
I want to make sure that we all learn together.
Calm confidence.
Calm, confident, calm, surrender.
Everything that he's taught has become a reality.
Yeah.
We are so grateful and impressed.
I feel like crying.
You changed our world.
It is a beautiful thing to see. As you rehabilitate the dog, you also rehabilitate you.
Friday night, the 2020 true crime.
A murder, a mistress, and a beloved mother shot to death.
Now, Friday night.
Her son is speaking out only to ABC News.
I still wake up in the middle of the night and I think, this can't be real.
From one of the most beautiful places on earth.
Larry Rudolph and his wife traveled frequently to hunt.
Comes a story so dark.
Suddenly, a shotgun blast rings out.
The Last Hunt, 2020, Friday night on ABC.
Welcome back, everyone. Navigating a world that isn't necessarily built with them in mind. 1 in 4 adults in the United States live with a disability. So many are hoping to make their mark in the workforce despite facing constant barriers. But some are trying to break down those roadblocks for good. Our team spent a day with disability advocate Alexis Smith, who has cerebral palsy, to see the daily challenges she faces. We also sat down with Rachel Arfa, the highest-ranking deaf person serving in municipal government, as the two spread awareness about what life can look like in a sometimes inaccessible society.
If you give me the chance, I can show you what I can do. My name is Alexis Smith. I am proudly 29 years old, and I live in Chicago, Illinois. I am directly impacted by inaccessibility, and so I would like to help in being a part of the change. My disability, cerebral palsy, is caused by a lack of oxygen to the brain. I actually have quadriplegia, but no, I am not paralyzed. I can feel all 4 of my limbs, and I wear leg braces to help me walk better. Hey, good morning. Good morning. I have caregivers that come in on the daily basis. She helps me with anything that I ask, making up my bed, helping me get dressed.
Hey, what time do you gotta go to work today?
I have to be there at 5:30, but I would prefer 5. I keep getting 30 minutes cut off, but okay.
Oh.
She doesn't make me feel bad about things that I cannot do for myself. I like that she can see me for the person I am versus seeing me for the disability that I have. I need to put lotion on my face more often on a daily basis. My grandmother says that, because I'm black, black doesn't crack, so we're gonna put on my leg braces. I have navigated looking for a job in Chicago pretty well by getting in contact with the mayor's office or people with disabilities.
You want it this way because you have it this way.
Yeah, up and down. Yeah. I was paired with a career coach. I made sure she knew that I had a college bachelor's degree in communications. I told her what job I was looking for, and I told her about me having caregivers for 4 hours a day. There you go. I need to wear my glasses. Can you grab them from the inside of the nightstand?
We say the word disability because we want people to get used to the fact that disability is not a bad thing. My name is Kate Caldwell, and I am Director of Research and Policy for Northwestern Law's Center on Racial and Disability Justice. Accessibility issues basically happens when there's a social or environmental barrier to what you want to do, the way you want to participate in something, where if you didn't have a disability, you would just be able to participate. So it isn't actually the person that's disabled.
Thank you for the tea today.
It's actually society that's disabling because it wasn't built with them in mind.
This is a Brown Line train to the Loop.
They keep look at me walking down the street. You might not know that I have a disability. My name is Rachel Ober, and I'm the commissioner for the City of Chicago Mayor's Office for people with disabilities.
Commissioner Arfa is the first deaf person to serve as a cabinet member in the mayor's cabinet and is the highest ranking deaf person serving in municipal government nationwide.
Growing up, I did not see a deaf person that looked like me in city government. Then after I'm learning how to advocate for myself, I wanted to be able to advocate for other people. I'm here with Jen interpreting. I wanted to check out the meaning for tomorrow. Then I have an American Sign Language interpreter who I'm using captions that you would know that I have a disability. What's the next meaning about? And also, I have to educate people because they think that maybe because I'm a deaf person who can talk, I may not need accommodations, but in fact, I do. Here at the center, we have career placement counseling. We work with people with disabilities to help find jobs. They apply for a job, and they may let the interviewer know that they need a visible accommodation to make the interview accessible. Sometimes the company just drop them. Sometimes they may not know the applicant has a disability, but when the person shows up for the interview, they can see if it's a visible disability.
I want to change the discrimination that they try to hide. When you apply for a job, when you get to the interview, they see the chair. I'm going from here to the bank. So it says, we are unable to fulfill your advance ride request at this time.
Please hold while your call is being transferred to an agent.
I've only ridden the train twice in my life. My main fear is that my front wheels are gonna get stuck.
There you go. You okay?
Yes, I'm okay.
Thank you.
On my crutches, or if I was an able-bodied person, didn't need the extra space, it would most likely probably be about $4 or $5. The price pretty much doubles in most cases.
I drop you here on the right.
Thank you.
Slowly, slowly, slowly.
Where you live really determines where you work and how you get to work. People may not be able to actually accept a job offer if they have no way of getting to work.
So this is the closest bank to you and the doors aren't accessible?
Right, the doors are not ultra accessible. I might have to cancel my third ride because my second ride hasn't shown up. Hello. Yes, this is Alexis calling. It keeps saying that he's 27 minutes away, but it's been saying that time for like 30 or 35 minutes. And this is why I do not go out that much. So, you know, being 15, 20 minutes late, that's what kills you. This is real. It's a day in the life of Alexis. I mean,
In 2022, the disability employment rate was approximately 28% across the U.S. People who aren't familiar with disability tend to think of disabled people as not wanting to work or just sitting back and collecting welfare benefits. But the reality is that most disabled people work multiple jobs. Disabled Americans who are relying upon disability benefits have savings and asset limitations. On average, it's around $2,000 a month that people are allowed to have.
how many prices is changing on the menu?
Just one.
So you have to work and then show that you can't work so that you can receive the benefits, but you need to work while you're receiving the benefits. But then you can't work too much because then they're going to cut off your benefits. And so it puts disabled people in what's called a benefits trap.
While we have accommodations or while we have limitations, that doesn't mean that we will not take our job seriously. So for this cheat sheet, is it updated?
I don't know. Can I see it?
I don't think so. I want to get off of Social Security income because I want to make my own money without limitations of being told by the government how much I can make and or how often. So you would actually go that way down the hall to the left for the Kingsbury Theater.
Okay, thank you. Appreciate
You're welcome. My experience working at the Isle Theater has been lots of fun. The patrons are very lively, they're understanding. Hello, how can I help you?
Many times people with disabilities are not a student. We need to be a student, and we have so much to offer. People with disabilities are some of the best problem solvers around. We face different access barriers every single day.
People with disabilities and their families have had to be innovative throughout history to deal with all of the systems that have been working against them. And that's actually really powerful. No matter what, they're going to find a way for themselves, but also to make an impact on the world.
Hello. Yes, we do have a disability, but there's more than one way to do something. While it may not be perfect or it may not be what someone else would think of, but we can get the task done. So I would like to help in being a part of the change.
The rest of it was fun.
Okay.
A number of people hoping that change comes sooner than later. Still much more to get to tonight. Coming up, the major city reeling from a violent holiday weekend with more than 100 people shot. The next deaths related to extreme heat have been rising in parts of the country and beyond. We take a look at the alarming increase by the numbers.
What does it take to be the most watched newscast in America?
An operation to capture ISIS fighters.
Is this our Combat Operations Center?
We're approaching the gate now. Militants came in from 4 or 5 different directions.
Operational nuclear reactor.
So you have a couple loaded and ready to go. The house is destroyed, but the flag, there's not a tear in it.
Not a tear in it.
How important is this label right here, Made in the USA? Look at your smile. You're proud of this.
I love this.
Great work.
Hi.
Where are you? Where are you?
Appreciate you.
Thank you, David.
Good to meet you.
Ismail? David.
David.
Yes, yes. I'm David Muir.
I know who you are.
You
I watch
do?
you every night.
ABC's World News Tonight with David Muir is America's most watched newscast. Whenever news breaks,
We are here in Israel, a nation at war.
In Rolling Fork, this tornado tore through this town.
From Lewiston, Maine.
The scene of a horrific mass shooting.
From the scene of that deadly missile strike.
ABC News Live everywhere.
In Iceland. Let's go.
On the 2024 campaign trail.
Here at 10 Downing Street.
Wherever the story is.
We're going to take you there. You're streaming ABC News Live.
ABC News Live.
You're streaming ABC News Live.
ABC News Live, streaming free everywhere.
There is a price to be paid every time a survivor shares their story. I will not be silenced.
Do you feel the church accepted abuse?
I wouldn't say accepted it as so much pretended it didn't exist.
Yep, that's him.
Yep.
Ready? Kira Phillips with ABC News. Does your church protect sexual predators? The powerful new Impact by Nightline. Secrets of the 2x2 Church.
There's nothing pretty about hearing this.
Now streaming on Hulu. First thing in the morning.
There's a lot going on.
We're still in a flash flood warning. To catch you up with what happened overnight. Police in riot gear arresting dozens of protesters.
What's happening today? Escalating tensions in the Middle East.
What people are talking about. The migrant crisis.
Fast, straightforward.
With some fun in between.
Check out the Gator on the 17th hole.
The buzzkill in baseball.
First thing in the morning.
America This Morning.
America's #1 early morning news.
On ABC News Live.
Why do so many people start their day here?
From ABC News, this is Start Here.
To be in the know and get a different take on the day's top stories.
A lot of news today, so let's get into it.
Listen now to the Daily News Podcast honored with 4 Edward R. Murrow Awards and see why the New York Times calls it a news podcast worth listening to. Start Here, ABC News. Make it your daily first listen.
Now, that's a part of the story I bet you didn't see coming.
Wherever you get your podcasts, Start Here.
It's lunchtime in America, so what are we serving up?
Well, how about everything you need to know?
Give it to me. Your health, your money, breaking news, pop culture, with the biggest stars, music, trends, and of course, good food.
It's all coming up on GMA3.
You're going to love it. We'll see you then.
GMA 3, what you need to know. A third hour of GMA in the afternoon.
So join us, afternoons.
For everything you need to know.
I love that.
Me too.
Reporting from the Normandy coast for the 80th anniversary of D-Day, I'm David Muir. Wherever the story is, we'll take you there. You're streaming ABC News Live.
Welcome back, everyone. With record-breaking heat and humidity crisscrossing the country, these past few weeks have just been brutal, and there's little sign of the temperatures letting up in the longer-range forecast. Incredible rise in heat-related deaths is this evening's By the Numbers. Let's start with America's hottest major city, Phoenix, expected to suffer a high of 116 degrees every single day this week. Heat-related deaths there within Maricopa County, about the highest in the country per capita, rising 7-fold over the past decade. As of last week, there have been 175 suspected heat-related deaths this year in the county where Phoenix is located. Several factors are likely contributing to those deaths. In 54% of cases, drug use was suspected, and 31% of victims at the time were experiencing homelessness. Like Phoenix, other major U.S. cities are similarly trying to reduce heat-related deaths. After all, the average number of heat waves has doubled since the 1980s, according to the government's 5th National Climate Assessment. Making matters worse, summer night low temperatures were 2.6 degrees warmer in 2022 than they were in 1970. The relative coolness of the night just no longer provides the relief that it used to. And we still have much more ahead here on Prime tonight. The progress made in Notre Dame as workers make the final push before its reopening. And she's looking for love, and millions were joined along on her journey. Bachelorette Jen Tran joins us to talk about her groundbreaking season.
Whenever, wherever wherever news breaks. It's so important to always remember that lives are changed.
Here in London, in Buffalo, Uvalde, Texas, Edinburgh, Scotland, from Poland once again tonight. Thank you so much for streaming with us. Ukrainian refugees here in Warsaw. Do you think you'll ever be able to go back home? We're heading to a small community outside of Mexico City. Splintered houses and splintered lives. The magnitude of the devastation. You're streaming ABC News Live. Reporting from Rolling Fork, Mississippi, Santa Fe, New Mexico, Raleigh, North Carolina, the U.S. Capitol, Mayfield, Kentucky, Minneapolis, Mexico, Tongass National Forest, Alaska.
Getting you behind the stories as they happen, giving you a front row seat to our world as it plays out in real time, live.
ABC News Live Prime. We'll take you there.
Stream ABC News Live weeknights, America's most honored streaming news program, only on ABC News Live. Streaming free right now wherever you stream your news.
First thing in the morning.
There's a lot going on.
We're still in a flash flood warning. To catch you up with what happened overnight. Police in riot gear arresting dozens of protesters.
What's happening today? Escalating tensions in the Middle East.
What people are talking about. The migrant crisis.
Fast, straightforward.
With some fun in between.
Check out the Gator on the 17th hole.
The buzzkill in baseball.
First thing in the morning.
America This Morning.
America's #1 early morning news.
On ABC News Live.
Whenever news breaks.
We are here in Israel, a nation at war.
In Rolling Fork, this tornado tore through this town.
From Lewiston, Maine.
The scene of a horrific mass shooting.
From the scene of that deadly missile strike.
ABC News Live everywhere.
In Iceland, let's go.
On the 2024 campaign trail.
Here at 10 Downing Street.
Wherever the story is.
We're going to take you there.
You're streaming ABC News Live.
ABC News Live.
You're streaming ABC News Live.
ABC News Live, streaming free everywhere. Friday night, the 2020 true crime.
A murder, a mistress, and a beloved mother shot to death.
Now, Friday night.
Her son is speaking out only to ABC News.
I still wake up in the middle of the night and I think, this can't be real.
From one of the most beautiful places on earth.
Larry Rudolph and his wife traveled frequently to hunt.
Comes a story so dark.
Suddenly, a shotgun blast rings out.
The Last Hunt, 2020, Friday night on ABC.
Get ready, America, every Friday.
The hottest trends, styles, and must-have. What's the right stuff to buy right now? I really love that. It's time to buy the right stuff.
Yes!
And save big time, too.
The right stuff.
Fridays on GMA. You're going to love it.
Why do so many people start their day here?
From ABC News, this is Start Here.
To be in the know and get a different take on the day's top stories. Start Here.
Now, that's a part of the story I bet you didn't see coming.
Make it your daily first listen, wherever you get your podcasts.
Alec Baldwin appears in court ahead of his involuntary manslaughter trial. More than 100 people are shot in one city over a violent weekend. And why we're one step closer to a mission to Mars. These stories and much more in tonight's Rundown.
Actor Alec Baldwin appeared in court as part of a pretrial hearing for involuntary manslaughter charges stemming from that deadly shooting on the set of the Western movie Rust. In October 2021, Baldwin was rehearsing with a revolver when the gun went off, killing cinematographer Helena Hutchins and wounding director Joel Sousa. Baldwin has pleaded not guilty. A judge ruled on several motions today, including deciding Baldwin's role as co-producer is not relevant and cannot be used as evidence. He should have been more aware of safety on the set. The trial starts Tuesday. 109 people have been shot, 19 fatally, in gun violence across Chicago since Wednesday during the extended 4th of July holiday weekend, police said. The violence includes 3 mass shootings, one in which 2 women and an 8-year-old boy were killed, and 2 young boys were left in critical condition after multiple shooters opened fire. Chicago Police Department Superintendent Larry Snelling says their officers are committed to doing what they can to address the gun violence across the city. Columbia University removed 3 administrators from their posts after sending text messages it says disturbingly touched on ancient anti-Semitic tropes. The administrators, who were not identified, were placed on indefinite leave and will not return to their previous jobs. The campus became a flashpoint for student-led protests that challenged the school's public position on the conflict in Palestine and Israel. Beginning this fall, all Columbia students, faculty, and staff will be required to take anti-discrimination training that will include a focus on anti-Semitism. The entertainment giant Paramount announced they've accepted the terms of a merger deal with Skydance. Skydance has helped produce some major Paramount hits in recent years, including Tom Cruise films like Top Gun Maverick and installments of the Mission Impossible series. The new combined company is valued at around $28 billion. The proposed transaction is expected to close in September of 2025, pending regulatory approval. As Paris gears up to host the world during the Olympics this summer, progress is being made on one of the city's most iconic landmarks. The refurbishment of the 800-year-old symbol of French history and culture is now nearly 90% complete, showing off gleaming new stone, freshly laid tiles, and revamped paintwork. It's a colossal project with a massive undertaking. 2,000 workers, from carpenters to artists to metal workers, are trying to meet a December deadline for reopening. The project has taken over 5 years. They did it for science. 4 volunteers sealed inside a simulated Mars habitat for a year to find out how people will react to a closed environment and each other when humans finally go to the orange planet. The crew took Mars walks, grew and harvested several vegetables, and maintained their equipment at habitat. They also operated under additional specific stressors a Mars crew would experience, including communication delays with Earth, resource limitations, and isolation. 2 additional missions are planned for 2025 and 2027.
Some harrowing moments today for passengers on board a United flight leaving Los Angeles. The Boeing 757 lost one of its main landing gear tires on takeoff. Passengers were told to brace, but the plane landed successfully hours later without that tire. No injuries were reported. The FAA and United have launched an investigation. Thanks to a sizable gift, most Johns Hopkins medical students will no longer have to pay tuition. The university announced that Bloomberg Philanthropies donated $1 billion, which will cover the full tuition for medical students from families earning less than $300,000, while living expenses and fees will be covered for those families earning less than $175,000. This is not the first time Bloomberg Philanthropies has donated to Johns Hopkins. In 2018, $1.8 billion was gifted to ensure undergraduate students were accepted regardless of their family's income levels. Our next guest, like so many others, is looking for love. The only difference, she's doing it on national television. Jen Tran is season 21's Bachelorette, meeting 25 suitors and making history as the franchise's first Asian American lead. Let's take a look.
Tonight is the night that I meet my future husband. I just feel so grateful and I'm so excited.
Jen joins us now in studio. Thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you for having me. I'm excited to be here.
We are excited to have you. What made you decide, I want to be the next Bachelorette?
Oh gosh, I don't know if it was really, it was a decision, but I kind of stumbled into it. I don't know. You know, I've always been a hopeless romantic. I always wanted to find my person, find that love that I've always wanted, that partnership. But did I necessarily want to be a public figure? I was not sure. That definitely took a lot of contemplating on my end. But yeah, I mean, I'm the kind of person that goes for anything, you know, any opportunity. I never really say no, so I love to just take a chance.
So what's it like dating 25 guys at the same time?
Oh gosh, I don't know. It's hard, but it's also kind of easy in a way because I love to flirt. So it's nice for sure, but I mean, it definitely got harder as time went on when your connections are so strong for so many men. But I will say it's a good feeling to have so many people want to get to know you, for sure.
First Asian American Bachelorette. What does that mean for you?
So much. Growing up, I never really had any Asian American representation on TV. I never really had a role model to look up to. And I think that really hindered, you know, the possibilities that I could see for myself. And so now kind of just being the role model that I've always wanted to have growing up, it's really a full circle moment for me. And it's very, very surreal. And I'm just so honored and grateful to be able to do this for so many other young Asian Americans around the world.
And we see a few of the men, the gentlemen callers there. How diverse of a group do you have to select from of those 25?
Yeah, it's a pretty diverse group for sure. I mean, people have said, you know, there's not a lot of Asian men on this season, and I can't really speak to the casting decisions made for the show, and that's unfortunate, but I'm happy to be in this position and happy to continue to be a spearhead for more diversity in the future.
One thing that people have come to expect with the title, whether it's The Bachelor or The Bachelorette, is the drama. So how do you go about navigating that for your season?
Yeah, honestly, I love a little bit of drama. I'm someone who likes a little bit of conflict. I think you can tell a lot about a person based on how they interact in conflict and how they resolve conflict. So, I mean, when the boys were going at it, I just sat back and let them take the wheels and saw how they wanted to behave.
And when we're seeing this, I'm just curious, when you're the first at something, do you feel any kind of pressure?
Absolutely. I think it would be a disservice to not feel a little bit of pressure. At least in the beginning, it was mainly just me in my head wanting to do right by both my Vietnamese culture and both my American culture, because I'm such a mix of both. But at the end of the day, you know, I really told myself that all I can do is just be my authentic self and tell my story the way that I would tell it and not really have to listen to any outside noise.
Even though we don't know and we're just starting to watch, this is already over for you, right? So what have you learned through this process?
I learned so much about myself. The biggest lesson that I'm most grateful for is I really learned that I learned how to stand up for myself. I think in previous relationships, I really shied away from that because I've been so conflicted in who I was and what I believed in. And now kind of really growing into my own, I learned how to stand up for myself and stand up for what I believe in and really have a voice in my relationships. And I think in doing so, I was able to grow into my own a lot more and really, I feel so much more confident in who I am now.
Okay, I was trying to sneak a look to see, like, does she have a wedding ring on? But I guess you can't give that away.
Not yet,
that spoiler.
no.
All right, Jen, thank you so much for coming by. I want to let our viewers know that you can see how the season turns out. The premiere kicks off The Bachelorette tonight at 8 p.m. Eastern on ABC and available the next day on Hulu. And that is our show for this hour. I'm Linsey Davis. Be sure to stay tuned to ABC News Live for more context and analysis of the day's top stories. Thanks so much for streaming with us. In the next hour, the challenge President Biden is posing to Democrats who doubt his ability to win the election. And amid ceasefire negotiations, Israel launches a deeper offensive in parts of Gaza. What they're revealing about the operation.
Why do so many people start their day here?
From ABC News, this is Start Here.
To be in the know and get a different take on the day's top stories.
A lot of news today, so let's get into it.
Listen now to the Daily News Podcast honored with 4 Edward R. Murrow Awards and see why the New York Times calls it a news podcast worth listening to. Start Here, ABC News. Make it your daily first listen.
Now, that's a part of the story I bet you didn't see coming.
Wherever you get your podcasts, Start Here.
It's lunchtime in America, so what are we serving up?
Well, how about everything you need to know?
Give it to me. Your health, your money, breaking news, pop culture, with the biggest stars, music, trends, and of course, good food.
It's all coming up on GMA 3.
You're gonna love it. We'll see you then.
GMA 3, what you need to know. A third hour of GMA in the afternoon.
So join us, afternoons.
For everything you need to know.
I love
Give
that.
it to
Me
me.
too.
Whenever news breaks,
We are here in Israel, a nation at war.
In Rolling Fork, this tornado tore through this town.
From Lewiston, Maine.
The scene of a horrific mass shooting.
From the scene of that deadly missile strike.
ABC News Live everywhere.
In Iceland, let's go.
On the 2024 campaign trail.
Here at 10 Downing Street.
Wherever the story is.
We're going to take you there.
You're streaming ABC News Live.
ABC News Live.
You're streaming ABC News Live.
ABC News Live, streaming free everywhere. What does it take to be the most watched newscast in America?
An operation to capture ISIS fighters.
Is this our Combat Operations Center?
We're approaching the gate now. Militants came in from 4 or 5 different directions. Operational nuclear reactor. So you have a couple loaded and ready to go. The house is destroyed, but the flag, there's not a tear in it.
Not a tear in it.
How important is this label right here, Made in the USA? Look at your smile. You're proud of this.
I love this.
Great work.
Hi.
Where are you? Where are you?
Appreciate you.
Thank you, David. Good to meet you.
Ismail? David.
David.
Yes, yes. I'm David Muir.
I know who you are.
You
I watch
do?
you every night.
ABC's World News Tonight with David Muir is America's most watched newscast.
Whenever, wherever news breaks, it's so important to always remember that lives are changed. Here in London, in Buffalo, Uvalde, Texas, Edinburgh, Scotland. Reporting from Rolling Fork, Mississippi. Ukrainian refugees here in Warsaw. We're heading to a small community outside of Mexico City. Getting you behind the stories as they happen. ABC News Live Prime. We'll take you there.
Stream ABC News Live weeknights wherever you stream your news. Only on ABC News Live.
Reporting from Monterey Park, California, I'm Robin Roberts. Wherever the story is, we're going to take you there. You're streaming ABC News Live.
Good evening, everyone. This is ABC News Live Prime. I'm Linsey Davis. Thank you so much for streaming with us. We have a lot of news to get to this evening, but we do begin with President Biden's counterattack to the growing number of lawmakers and donors calling for him to step aside. Fed up and defiant, the president penning an impassioned letter to congressional Democrats, insisting he is not going anywhere, writing, "It is time to come together, move forward as a unified party, and defeat Donald Trump." As lawmakers return to Capitol Hill today, some vow to stand behind the president.
I made clear publicly the day after the debate that I support President Joe Biden and the Democratic ticket. My position has not changed.
While others are asking tough questions, a members-only House Democrat meeting is set for tomorrow morning to discuss the best path forward. On the eve of the White House hosting the NATO summit, even foreign leaders are expressing their deep concerns about his ability to run the country. Our Rachel Scott is on Capitol Hill with fresh reaction from congressional Democrats. But we begin with ABC's chief White House correspondent, Mary Bruce.
President Biden tonight defiant and fighting back, adamant he's in this race for the long haul.
The bottom line here is that we're not going anywhere. I am not going anywhere.
Biden today aggressively rejecting calls to drop out and challenging his Democratic doubters.
I'm getting so frustrated by the elites. Now, I'm not talking about you guys, but about the elites in the party who they know so much more. But if any of these guys don't think I should run against me, go ahead, announce for president. Challenge me at the convention.
But the White House today forced to face questions about whether they're being honest with the American people about the president's health after visitor logs show a neurologist, a Parkinson's expert, visited the White House 8 times within an 8-month span, including meeting once with the president's doctor.
So to give you some answers here, has the president been treated for Parkinson's? No. Is he being treated for Parkinson's? No, he's not. Is he taking medication for Parkinson's? No. So those are the things that I can give you full-blown answers on.
But the White House refusing to say if this neurologist ever evaluated the president or consulted on his care during his visits to the White House Residence Clinic, citing privacy concerns.
Certainly could clear this all up just by saying what he was doing here and if it was connected to the president, yes or no?
I am not going to confirm a particular neurologist, anybody.
The same neurologist also appeared on the visitor logs during the Obama years more than 24 times. The White House today not providing a reason for the recent visits. The press secretary adamant Biden has only been evaluated by a neurologist 3 times, each as part of his regular annual physicals.
Just to be clear, yes or no, has his physician seen a reason to reevaluate him for Parkinson's since the February physical?
No, the comprehensive report that you all have stands.
The president himself out of the public eye today. The first lady out rallying crowds in North Carolina and Florida.
For all the talk out there about this race, Joe has made it clear that he's all in.
The calls for her husband to get out of the race clearly getting under her skin.
Dr. Biden, do you have any message to House Democrats who are calling for your husband to drop out of the race? How are you feeling about the state of the race?
All right, ladies. Why are you screaming at me? You know me. Don't scream at me. Just let me talk.
This as the president scrambles to contain the defections on Capitol Hill, telling Democrats in a letter he's staying in this race, adding the question of how to move forward has been well aired for over a week now, and it's time for it to end.
Our thanks to Mary Bruce. With lawmakers back on the Hill, their first time since just after that first debate last month, gathering for votes and last-minute meetings like one convened by the Biden team with members of the Congressional Black Caucus. Tonight, what several leading Democrats told us when we asked what the president should do, pass the torch or stay in the race. Rachel Scott is on Capitol Hill with the latest.
President Biden is urging Democratic lawmakers to put their worries aside and get behind his campaign. But tonight, a growing number of senators say they're not ready to do that. From Senator Sherrod Brown in Ohio.
I've talked to people across Ohio. They have legitimate questions about whether the president should continue his campaign. And I'll keep listening to people.
To Senator Mark Warner of Virginia, who heads up the powerful Intelligence Committee and says now is the time for conversations about the strongest path forward, adding, I believe it's incumbent on the president to more aggressively make his case to the American people. In Montana, Senator John Tester locked in a tough re-election battle, saying President Biden has got to prove to the American people, including me, that he's up for the job for another 4 years. On Capitol Hill, I tried to get an answer from one of the president's two home state senators, Tom Carper of Delaware.
Do you think he should step aside? If I don't go inside, I have people waiting for me, and I'm in trouble.
It's a simple yes or no, sir.
Thank you.
Carper's office later telling us, I have no interest in walking away from Biden today or tomorrow or the day after that. Many Democrats saying the next few days are crucial for the president.
Bottom line is just wait till this week, give it another week. It's only been a week, and what, 3 days, 3 or 4 days?
You said give it another week, so are you keeping an open mind on whether you want to see the president step aside in this race?
My thing is to find out what direction that the president is going to go. He's said very clearly what he wants to do and what he will do.
What do you want to see from him?
Well, I think that basically, we'll see he's very active now and everything. That's good.
But late today, Congressman Adam Smith of Washington telling me time's up and the president's got to drop out.
I wish he would make the right decision, but since he hasn't, and because of my bedrock belief that we can do better with a different candidate, not just a little better, a lot better, I got to speak up and just make the plea.
So much passion on both sides. Rachel Scott joins us now from Capitol Hill. And Rachel, I know you spoke to House members leaving the Capitol tonight. What were they telling you?
Yeah, and this was really notable and striking, Linsey, because this was the first time that we are actually seeing the members of the House in person since that debate. We know these conversations have been playing out privately, but this was our first chance to really press them and ask them some questions about what President Biden's path forward. So I had an opportunity to catch up with Congressman Pramila Jayapal. She is a progressive in the House. Take a listen to what she told me.
I think that he has been a really wonderful president the last 3.5 years, and he's worked closely with progressives. I think the conversation is important to have right now because people do have concerns. I just don't think it should be in public. And I think at the end of the day, he is our nominee right now until he's not our nominee. And I think we shouldn't do Trump and Republicans' dirty work for them.
Yeah, so this was something that was really notable from Congresswoman Jayapal and something that we're starting to hear more of from some Democrats, even ones that have been outspoken in the days after the debate, now saying that they don't even want to comment on this because they don't like how messy this looks for the Democratic Party, that all of these conversations are really being reported out. They are being leaked. They're being reported by ABC News and other outlets. Congresswoman Jayapal told me flat out she had concerns about what she saw on that debate stage. But right now, they say that this is a party that's at a crossroads. They're trying to figure out the path forward. But to be clear here, Linsey, only a handful. So far, only 6 House Democrats have called on the president to step aside.
And so you've talked a lot about those conversations taking place in the House. What do we hear happening in the Senate on the Democratic side?
This is quite the split screen, Linsey, because over in the House, you have a handful of House Democrats, 6 so far, that have called on the president to step aside. In the Senate, not a single Senate Democrat has called on President Biden to step aside. So we know behind closed doors, they have concerns. We've reported on those concerns, even from all the way up to the chair of the Senate Intelligence Committee, Mark Warner, who wanted to assemble a group of Senate Democrats to get together to talk about President Biden's path forward. That was ultimately called off after it was reported by ABC News and other outlets. So a lot of senators that I talked to today, as you saw there in that piece, are sort of in this wait and see mode. They know that the next few days are going to be absolutely critical for President Biden. So they've seen them out there on the campaign trail. They acknowledge the fact that the president has been using teleprompters. They saw him in the sit-down with our exclusive sit-down with ABC's George Stephanopoulos. They want to see how he does this week, how much outreach he does to lawmakers, also how he does in that press conference that's supposed to be happening later this week at the NATO summit that we heard there from Mary Bruce. Those are all going to be be critical markers in this race and will be telling on whether or not there's a shift in tone, especially from Democratic members in the Senate, Lindsay.
Certainly a critical time. Rachel Scott from Capitol Hill for us. Thank you so much, Rachel. We turn now to the deadly hurricane turned tropical depression slamming the U.S. and making landfall in Texas early this morning. Beryl arrived as a Category 1, hammering the coast with torrential rains and damaging winds, also bringing widespread flooding and a life-threatening storm surge. Now a tropical depression and soon to be post-tropical cyclone. It'll continue its trek up the Great Lakes region, but not before having inflicted a lot of significant damage. Meteorologist Lee Goldberg has the latest on the rain and wind ahead for millions. But first, our Victor Kendo is in Houston.
Tonight, millions of families and businesses are without power as South Texas takes a direct and deadly hit from Hurricane Beryl. Beryl, fueled by the abnormally warm waters of the Gulf of Mexico, slamming ashore around 4 a.m. southwest of Houston as a Category 1 hurricane with sustained winds over 80 miles an hour and feet of storm surge.
Oh, wow.
AccuWeather's Aaron Jajak right there as Beryl came ashore.
Just north of the coast, power's been knocked out here in Sargent, Texas. Absolutely strongest winds yet right now.
Transformers exploding like fireworks in Jamaica Beach as Beryl barreled inland toward Galveston.
Hurricane Beryl made landfall 2 hours ago in Matagorda, Texas. That's south of where we are in Galveston, now in the dirty side of the storm. That is the most dangerous part. The rain has been relentless for hours, and these winds are only getting stronger.
Drone video revealing the devastation. Boats, campers, roofs peeled from homes. Beryl still a formidable Cat 1 hurricane as the eyewall approached Houston, dumping nearly 9 inches of rain in spots.
Shelter in place. We're in an emergency. We're in a rescue mode. Life safety.
This traffic camera shaking in the wind as firefighters use a ladder truck to rescue a man from the roof of his car.
He's got the life jacket on, and they're lifting him out of the water. Look at that.
Our station, KTRK, right there as they hoist him out of the fast-moving water and onto dry land. Northeast of the city, a 73-year-old grandmother was killed when a tree fell on her home, one of at least 3 deaths. Beryl, the first hurricane to make landfall in Texas in 3 years, after tearing a week-long path of destruction through the Caribbean, killing at least 11 people.
So many lives just upended by this storm. Victor Kendo joins us now from Houston. Victor, what are you seeing? Describe the area where you are right now.
Lindsay, there are down trees like these all over Houston that have knocked out power. Officials warning they don't know how long it will take to fully restore it. So while Beryl has moved on, the danger has not. Houston is under a heat advisory tomorrow with the heat index near 100 for the coming days. Lindsay?
Wow, just unrelenting there, Victor. Thank you. And now meteorologist Lee Goldberg from our partner station WABC joins us. He's tracking the remnants of Beryl and also that historic heat wave. Good evening to you, Lee.
Yeah, good evening, Lindsay. It's really tough. If you're not in the impacted Beryl, you're broiling on both coasts right now, and ultimately some storms could get to the East Coast. But let's look at where Beryl is right now across East Texas. It's approaching Tyler, Texas. The storm center will head into Arkansas, and it's really transitioning to more of a tropical rainstorm, a flash flood threat, and also a tornado threat. There's been tornado warnings all afternoon long, and that watch will go until 10 o'clock tonight. And then the flood threat is the main concern all the way up to St. Louis through Tuesday, but that flood threat will continue through the Ohio Valley, the Great Lakes, and even into the Northeast. So the storm spends tonight in Arkansas, and by the time we go through tomorrow and early Wednesday morning, we could have heavy downpours on the south side of Chicago, even just north of Indianapolis, up to about Detroit, over to Cleveland, and then into the Northeast. So this storm center may actually go into Ontario and even into Quebec, leaving the heaviest rains from like a Rochester over to Watertown, Plattsburgh, and along that route of the track of the remnants, 3 to 5 inches of rainfall. You see the 1 to 2 inch rains mid-Atlantic and I-95. That's because some of that tropical moisture will get fed into a front later this week that could bring some flooding there. And again, if you're not in the tropical downpours, you're in the heat. Excessive heat alerts all through the West Coast. Same story here. Las Vegas had an all-time record high over the weekend. We continue to be near that through the week. Triple-digit heats, just absolutely unbearable there. And it's also hot in the Northeast. Heat advisories extended here in New York City right through Wednesday. Lindsay?
Record-setting temperatures there. Lee Goldberg, our thanks to you as always. Still much more to get to coming up. You've probably laughed at the jokes he's written for some of the most popular sitcoms of the past few decades. Gary Janetti gives us his hilarious do's and don'ts for travel. But next, an amazing find in Peru. The remains of 11 people from an ancient city what archaeologists are revealing about how they may have lived.
Whenever news breaks,
we are here in Israel, a nation at war after that brutal surprise attack by Hamas.
On the ground in Ukraine, reporting from Lewiston, Maine.
The scene of a horrific mass shooting.
ABC News Live is right there everywhere.
From the scene of that deadly missile strike in Dnipro, Ukraine.
Reporting from the earthquake in Turkey.
In Rolling Fork, this tornado tore through this little town.
From the most devastating disaster in Hawaii.
From Charleston, South Carolina, on the 2024 campaign trail.
In Iceland, let's go.
Traveling with the president in Mexico City.
Wherever the story.
From the front lines, from southern Israel.
Outside the Gaza Strip.
In Beirut.
From the FBI.
Reporting from the nurses on the picket line.
Here at 10 Downing Street in London.
Streaming live to you.
Wherever the story is.
Wherever the story is.
Wherever the story is, we're going to take you there.
You're streaming ABC News Live.
ABC News Live.
You're streaming ABC News Live.
ABC News Live, streaming free everywhere. America's #1 streaming news. Friday night, the 2020 true crime.
A murder, a mistress, and a beloved mother shot to death.
Now, Friday night.
Her son is speaking out only to ABC News.
I still wake up in the middle of the night and I think, this can't be real.
From one of the most beautiful places on earth.
Larry Rudolph and his wife traveled frequently to hunt.
Comes a story so dark.
Suddenly, a shotgun blast rings out.
The Last Hunt, 2020, Friday night on ABC. What does it take to be the most watched newscast in America?
We are part of an operation.
Is this our Combat Operations Center?
We're approaching the gate. Militants came in from different directions. Nuclear reactor. So you have a couple loaded and ready to go. The house is destroyed, but the flag.
Not a tear in it.
How important it made the USA. Great work.
Hi. Appreciate you.
Thank you.
Ismail? David.
I'm David Muir.
I know who you are.
You
Watch
do?
you every night.
ABC's World News Tonight with David Muir is America's most watched newscast.
I'm Janae Norman, reporting live on the return of panda diplomacy here in the Sichuan province of China. You're watching ABC News Live.
Welcome back, everyone. We're tracking several headlines around the world amid efforts by Egypt, Qatar, and the U.S. to step up ceasefire negotiations. Israeli forces launched a deeper offensive into Gaza City today, forcing families to evacuate once again. The Israeli military released video of their advance and said in a statement that the operation took out militant infrastructure and more than 30 Palestinian fighters. The Gaza Civil Emergency Service said dozens of people were killed in this latest attack. 2 million people are stranded in northern Bangladesh due to severe flooding and rivers bursting their banks. The heavy rain is expected to hit the central and southern region over the next 5 days. Torrential monsoon rains have also triggered floods and landslides in India's north and east and disrupted the capital city of Mumbai, where commuters waded through knee-deep floodwater. And in Peru, archaeologists have unearthed the remains of 11 individuals in the ancient city of Chan Chan. This mud citadel was once the capital of the Chimu Empire, which predates the Incas. Archaeologists say the individuals were adorned with necklaces and bracelets, suggesting they were upper class, but they were not found in a cemetery and likely met a violent end. The remains are approximately 800 years old. As a writer and producer for shows like Will and Grace and Family Guy, it's likely you've been laughing at Gary Janetti's hilarious observations for quite some time. Janetti is also the best-selling author of collected essays Start Without Me and Do You Mind If I Cancel, and has picked up his pen once again for his new book. We are experiencing a slight delay, sharing reflections and more than a little advice from his globe-trotting travels. Gary, thank you so much for coming back on the show.
Of course. Thanks for having me, Lindsay.
All right, so let's start with a little lightning round, because I know you need to be loosened up, right?
Okay, yeah, totally.
Okay, so your opinion about these things, sweatpants on an airplane.
Yeah, no. Sweatpants. I mean...
Why? That's
I don't know.
totally me.
I don't think you need to travel. It looks like at the airport too many people are on day 5 of the flu. Like they've been in bed for a
They're
week.
in pajamas.
How comfortable do you have to be to get on a 3-hour flight? I mean, I don't know. You could have like pants that button or a shirt that buttons. Yeah, I'm not for... I feel like you could put sweatpants on like if you're going to bed on the plane or something like that.
Overnight flights only.
I think
Even
so.
then, maybe.
Overnight flights, yes, I'll give you that, Lindsay, an overnight flight.
Checked bags versus carry-on.
Always a carry-on. I never check a bag, only carry-on. My feeling is take a carry-on, take 3 days worth of clothes, and do laundry.
Okay.
Never do laundry at the hotel, by the way. That's the biggest scam there is.
I agree with you.
It'll be $300 to do like it's insanity. No, and you find a local laundromat, it's $20. It'll look like you live wherever you are. I'm in Paris and I'm picking up my laundry. It's fantastic, 20 euros. And you just wash everything, put it back in.
Perfect length of a vacation.
Okay, perfect length of a vacation is probably about 11 days.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's a good amount of
2 weeks
time.
can be a little, stretching it, it's hard, but if you stretch it, you want to be someplace 10 days, and I'm going to give you a day to rest, but at least 10 days. I think 11 days.
I just have to make sure I can get all that time off all at the same time. All right. So you start out this book about dropping up maybe half dozen F-bombs, talking about this trip to Italy that involves a lot of hiking.
Yes.
But then you really turn it around talking about how much you enjoyed spending the time with strangers and meeting new people.
Did.
What's the ultimate takeaway for the reader here?
In this case, I felt like, I did all that when I was in my 20s. I don't need to meet all these new people and do all of these things that really make me feel kind of uncomfortable. But suddenly, I was like, it was fabulous, and I allowed myself to kind of have that experience. And I was really glad that I did in the end.
You described yourself as feeling like you were 35 all over again when you revisited Mykonos, the Greek island where you first met your husband. Why do you think it's important to go back to some of those places that we've already been to?
Yeah, well, what's nice when you go back, like I met my husband in Mykonos 23 years ago, just the other day, and we go back frequently, and we try not to be like, oh, make it too precious, like, don't go back and make it seem like everything has to be like the first time because you're setting yourself up for disaster, But if you go to some place that's familiar, you don't have to worry about seeing all the things you need to see. You can just let it, you can just have fun, kind of walk around as if you live there.
I've been running into most of them older people who are saying, I really want to go to this place or this continent or have this experience in this country. But then they said, but I don't want to get on the plane. And they really do, there's a fear maybe. And so what would you say, tips for those who maybe have some anxiety about going out of the country perhaps for the first time?
Yeah, take a Xanax. That would be the first one, or something like that. Overcome it. Just, push through it and do it. I think sometimes it's easy to use something as an excuse, too, to prevent us from going, oh, I can't get the time off work, I don't want to pack, what would I bring? I don't speak the language. I don't speak any other, I'm not proud of it, but I don't speak any other language, and it's never stopped me from going anywhere. I'm always, if you're kind when you travel and you make an effort, it goes a long way. And travel alone. I always say when you're waiting for another person, if you travel alone, I still travel alone, and I've been with Brad for 23 years, but we still independently travel, and there's nothing like arriving someplace alone, and nobody knows who you are, so they have no expectations of you, and you can kind of really have a different experience than you would have if you were with anybody else.
All very good tips, Gary.
Is it?
Janetti.
Okay, good.
We thank you. It's always so much fun when you stop by. You got to write another book.
I'll
That's
write another book so I can come back in 2 years.
Right?
Just to see you, I'm going to write it.
Want to let our viewers know we are experiencing a slight delay. Tips, Tales, and Travels by Gary Janetti goes on sale Tuesday, which is tomorrow. And still to come, indie rock sensation Mother Mother talks about their new album, Sold Out Tour, and the song that's blowing up on social media.
ABC News, this is Start Here.
To be in the know and get a different take on the day's top stories.
A lot of news today, so let's get into it.
Listen now to the Daily News Podcast honored with 4 Edward R. Murrow Awards and see why the New York Times calls it a news podcast worth listening to. Start Here, ABC News. Make it your daily first listen.
Now, that's a part of the story I bet you didn't see coming.
Wherever you get your podcasts, Start Here.
Let's go.
The ship is incredible. It feels like living in a science fiction movie.
We just saw what no one has seen before.
Wow, look at that.
Oh my gosh.
Well, dead ahead! Tag on!
We are heading into the unknown.
Hammer, hammer, hammer. It doesn't get any more cutting edge than this.
There is a price to be paid every time a survivor shares their story. I will not be silenced.
Do you feel the church accepted abuse?
I wouldn't say accepted it as so much pretended it didn't exist.
Yep, that's him.
Yep.
Ready?
Kira Phillips with ABC News. Does your church protect sexual predators?
The powerful new Impact by Nightline. Secrets of the 2x2 Church.
There's nothing pretty about hearing this.
Now streaming on Hulu.
What does it take to be the most watched newscast in America?
We are part of an operation.
Is this our combat operations center?
We're approaching the gate. Militants came in from different directions. Nuclear reactor. So you have a couple loaded and ready to go. The house is destroyed, but the flag.
Not a tear in it.
How important it made the USA.
Great work. Hi. Appreciate you.
Thank you.
Ismail? David.
David.
I'm David Muir.
I know who you are.
You
Watch
do?
you every night.
ABC's World News Tonight with David Muir is America's most watched newscast.
Over the past 17 years, Mother, an indie rock band hailing from Vancouver, has built a diehard following, dropping albums and hit tracks since 2007. And more recently, they've exploded onto the scene once again with a new wave of fans, giving even more fame and notoriety as fans across TikTok curate their own videos to one of the band's most popular tracks, Hayloft. Let's take a listen. Band members and siblings Ryan and Molly Goldemont join us now in studio to discuss your biggest tour album. Lots of stuff afoot here. Now, this is your 9th album, Grief Chapter. First of all, let's just start right there with the name, Grief Chapter. What does it mean? Where did it come from?
Grief Chapter, I was speaking with a friend who was grieving his father and other friends in his life, and so he was in quite a dark moment. And I said to him, sounds like you're in a grief chapter. And he, being a songwriter, said, yes, I am, but more importantly, that sounds like a great title for an unborn song. And so my homework was to write that song.
Oh, wow.
And then that kind of birthed a whole body of work, thematic to grief and death and mourning. You know, light topics such as that.
Yes, right. But the album doesn't really seem to have that sense of weightiness with the heavy darkness of potentially that mourning can bring.
Yeah, I think death is an interesting subject. Like, the more you investigate it, the more mysterious it becomes. And the best answer we could find for this inevitable conclusion is that it's here to help us live and love and appreciate this gift of life. And so, yeah, you're correct. At the core of this album, I think, it's more about celebrating life than it is about wallowing in death.
Molly, would you say that there has been a particular moment when you realized, wow, we have really become this viral sensation?
I think it was probably when we were all faced with this pandemic. We're at home, we think our career's like done, and then all of a sudden we hear that something called TikTok is exploding with us. And it was just out of the blue, this amazing group of people came together and just started sharing our music, making videos, and especially our older music, just like bringing it to life. It was incredible, just like a life-changing moment.
One thing that I often ask people who've had this kind of staying power, this long-term success as you all have, what's the secret sauce? You know, when you're able to see others come and go and try and never quite make it, yet you all have been around now for almost 2 decades.
I think you just don't quit. And, you know, not to oversimplify it, but you just don't quit. And you just weather the storms, and you believe in what you're doing, and you trust that success has peaks and valleys. And if you're in a valley, stick it out. A peak is around the corner.
I know you all have been going sold-out tours. You were in Europe, now you're bouncing around the United States, ultimately going to South America, Japan even. What kind of perspective does that give you, that your music really has an impact around the world?
Oh, it's just mind-blowing. We can't believe it, really. Yeah, I don't know. But everywhere we go, we're met with this same kind of group of amazing, creative, sensitive, artistic young people that are just taking our music and seeing, like, just expressing themselves through it. And it's like they're the same everywhere. It kind of makes you realize, like, how small the world is.
Molly, Ryan, all the best. Continued success to you both. We thank you so much for coming by. I want to let our viewers know Mother's album, Grief Chapter, is out now wherever you listen to your music. And that is our show for tonight. I'm Linsey Davis. ABC News Live is here for you all night with the latest news, context, and analysis. You can always find us on Hulu, Roku, Pluto TV, the ABC News app, and, of course, on abcnews.com. The news never stops. Thanks so much for streaming with us. Have a great night.